Welcome to the Myrtle Beach Aware Coastal Cast, your dedicated source for all things weather along the Grand Strand. Stay up to date with the latest forecasts, storm updates, and weather trends that impact the Myrtle Beach area. Whether you're planning a day or preparing for a storm, the Coastal Cast keeps you informed and ready for whatever the weather brings. Stay tuned as this week's Coastal Cast starts right now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Coastal Cast Live. I am Andrew Houston with Myrtle Beach Aware, and I am excited to bring you a lot of information. There's a lot going on right now across the country, and from massive winter storms in the northeast central portion of the country, up extending, and massive tornado threat this afternoon down in Dixie Alley and throughout the look here and really see what's going on for our weather for the snow lovers in Myrtle Beach. Don't have such good news for you as we move through the next week and a half. Models have changed a lot. I know I kind of teased about that a little bit because it's only my wish and my dream that we'd see a little bit of snow. However, it doesn't look like it's going to pan out that way. So just want to let you know you can't look at models more than 5 to 7 days out and kind of say, yes, it's going to snow, or no, we're not going to have any snow. But it's always nice to dream just a little bit there. So we will take a deep dive into that here as the show goes on. And we're going to get started here with, as always, please, anybody who wishes to become a Skywarn storm spotter, please reach out to us anytime. We can get you the training classes and get you on your way to becoming a certified storm spotter. We would love you to join our network here and help us collect some of that real-time data in the field as we start moving into severe weather season. And we would love to have you. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to us directly here at Myrtle Beach Aware, and we'll put you on the right path to get that certification and get you set up with everything you need to do to get through the training. So we're going to hop right on in here. As always, we're going to start this episode with our slides here. This is our forecast slides. So this one here is going to show you what's going on across the country. As I said, we have this massive winter storm that is moving across the country with a very large low pressure system extending all the way down into portions of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, causing a severe weather risk and tornado risk there, which we've already seen some tornado warnings within those areas today. We've been watching that closely as that warm sector is really starting to develop and bring some warm, moist air into this low pressure system as the front is working across from Texas into Louisiana. And we'll take a look at that on radar here in a little bit, just kind of show you that area as well. And we'll keep an eye on that for them. So let's go through this here. Moving on, we are looking at our 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook. The outlook is looking not so good here. So we are looking well under and below normal for this time of year. This front that's coming through is going to drop our temperatures drastically over the next 12 to 24 hours. And we're going to start seeing that really, really cold air start ushering in. Not Arctic blast by any means, but we are seeing a lot cooler temperatures moving in through this week. Our highs are going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s for most of the week. Some days not getting out of the 40s. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. But for overall, very well below normal. As far as the 6 to 10 day precipitation probability outlook, pretty well below. Actually, we're actually pretty normal for this time of year. Not seeing a lot of precipitation, but we will have a few systems that are going to bring us some precipitation as we move through the next 7 to 10 days as well. The 8 to 14 day temperature probability outlook, again, below normal. So that's going to put us out to about the 18th of January. So we have a long stretch of cold weather here that we're going to be experiencing as we move through. We will have some ups and downs as we go through the next 8 or the next 14 days or so. However, we're going to be averaging very well below normal temperatures for this time of year. And as we go through the 8 to 14 day precipitation probability outlook, we're looking at a little bit below normal as far as precipitation goes. As after we get through about the 11th, we're going to start seeing a little bit of a drop off according to forecast models on some of that precipitation. So that's going to set us a little bit below normal during that time. And this is all climatological, okay? So this is just the climate center that produces these. This is not the storm prediction center. This is just climatology is all it is. So as we look at the day one maximum temperatures, so today we're looking high 56 to 60, somewhere around there. Not going to get too warm today. Overnight tonight, we are looking at the lows in the 40s. And tomorrow, maximum temperatures for the day tomorrow, you warm weather lovers will love this. We're looking in the high in the 60s, getting close to that 70-degree mark before that front that's currently moving through portions of Texas, Louisiana. Eventually it makes its way through here and off the coast. And tomorrow night, bringing in some very cold temperatures. We're down in the 30s, upper 20s, low 30s for the overnight Tuesday or Monday into Tuesday. So getting very, very cold overnight tomorrow night. And for Tuesday, we are looking at highs in the 40s, getting close to that 50 mark, but I don't think we're going to reach the 50s, considering the much of central Florida is going to be in the 50s. We're a little bit further north, so we're going to be experiencing those 40s. Day 3 minimum temperatures overnight, we're looking lows in the 20s. Very, very chilly for the overnight hours. So we want to keep an eye on our pets and our outdoor faucets and things like that, as we will be below freezing for much of the overnight hours. Now, here we are at the front maps. Okay, so this is what's going on in the country right now. As you can see, we've got a area of low pressure just over western Tennessee at this point, and extends all the way down into below Texas there, down, and attaches to another center of low pressure just about around the Texas-Mexico border. And this is bringing along with it a warm front attached as well. This is a coastal warm front over top of Alabama, extending up into portions of almost in portions of western Tennessee to the center of low pressure, which is ushering in warm air, creating what's called a warm sector for along the front, along the head of this cold front, which is creating that instability for the severe weather and tornado threat in portions of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, during the afternoon and overnight hours here as we go through. We'll take a look at that warm sector and how that kind of pinches off as we go into the overnight hours and then into tomorrow. and the dew points as well on some of these models as we look through for the futurecast. As we watch this front on the futurecast kind of make its way into South Carolina tomorrow, and we'll go over the timing for that as well. So as we move into 7 a.m. on Monday, you can see that we have that coastal warm front that has lifting through our area, bringing in those warm temperatures for us along the front, in front of this cold front that's working through. There's a lot of front words in there that is hard to get out sometimes, but we got a lot of warm air ushering in. That's going to bring us our warm temps for tomorrow, but also increase our chances for rain and thunderstorms as we go throughout the day. Not a complete washout. We're going to be looking at some scattered showers, and we'll go over that on the futurecast here relatively shortly. As we get into Tuesday morning, that front is now off of the coast, and it moves pretty quick. And from between now and tomorrow afternoon, this front's going to really escalate eastward and really kind of get out of here pretty quick. But we do have this coastal front up here that's going to eventually become a cold front, and it will bring us a cold front, but it's going to be a dry cold front, so we're not going to have to worry about precipitation at that point. And here's just another look at these fronts maps. This really kind of paints the picture of what things are looking like. And I think I found it really interesting that you have this blizzard up here, all of this wintry weather, and then extending down into Dixie Alley is that cold front, that center of low pressures over Tennessee and dipping down into Texas, Mexico. What's really interesting about this entire time is this has looked like a giant tornado, which is interesting that the actual tornado is running through Dixie Alley, where it looks, you have that cone shape is running through Dixie Alley in the shape of a tornado. Thought that was really interesting. It's kind of cool to watch this stuff on maps, and we do have a radar image of this exact look, and it matches almost exactly. It's pretty cool, pretty wild what weather can do. It's really painting that picture for us of what exactly is going on out here in the country. So we've got that warm front out ahead of the cold front, attached to that center of low pressure up in Tennessee, bringing with it that severe thunderstorm and tornado risk for portions of Louisiana and Mississippi going into tomorrow morning as well. Yeah, into tomorrow morning. As we move into Monday, tomorrow morning, this is going to be the overnight tonight into tomorrow. That cold front really starts to advance over, and eventually by 7 a.m. tomorrow, our rain chances start to increase as we start moving through the day. That warm front kind of lifts across the state as the cold front wants to start pushing in. At this point, no severe weather risk for us at this point, as most of the moisture is going to be remaining south and into portions of Florida, creating that higher risk for the tornadoes or severe thunderstorms at that point. In 1 second as I move through here. And as we move into Tuesday, the overnight hours, let's move in advance forward and into Tuesday morning. You can see that coastal front wants to start working its way through our area. This again is going to be a dry front, so no precipitation with that. Eventually you can see where it finally becomes a cold front just south of South Carolina, down into Georgia and into Florida. Again, still being a dry front as high pressure wants to start building in across the country, which is going to bring us those northerly winds, ushering in that cold air for us as we move through the rest of the week and into Wednesday. Thursday, high pressure still set in, bringing us those cooler temperatures, and our next weather maker is starting to form in Texas, or coming through Texas, and that will eventually form a low pressure system just off the coast of Texas, and with a warm front attached. Again, going to start bringing a little bit slightly warmer temperatures into our area. We're looking not much warmer, highs in the 50s, which is going to be just enough to bring us a little bit warmer temperatures and some of that warmer, moist air, which is going to cut out pretty much any of our snow chances at that point, unfortunately. So this is that system we were talking about that could have produced up to a foot of snow at some point on some of the models. It was showing up to a foot of snow in the Myrtle Beach area. That dream has since been wiped clean and does not exist anymore. Looks like this, if anything, will be a rainmaker for us at that point. This actually brings the center of low pressure right up over the center portion of the state, up into along the border belt, and increases our rain chances for Saturday, Friday going into Saturday. This is 7 a.m. Saturday, where we have rain likely at that point, and we'll take a peek at that on the future cast. And then eventually after that, high pressure builds in again out in front of another cold front that's going to be sweeping across the country. But this puts us out to Sunday, and we will be discussing that cold front during our next week's episode of the Coastal Cast Live. So what are we looking at as far as models go here? Let me transition, and we'll take a peek at Pivotal Weather here. This is probably one of my favorite sources of models. Just really like this portion. So here's where we are today. You can see that center of low pressure working its way across with that cold front. So you got the center of low pressure here. The cold front extends down and into Texas, Mexico, and you got that warm front that's extending over top of that. So we've got a lot of wintry weather up here, and that tornado shape here you can see on the model here, and it's also on the radar as well. So let's just move through as we get into Monday. We'll do the 12Z run here Monday. This is 7 a.m. tomorrow. And as we work our way through, this is around 10 a.m. on Monday. And then eventually throughout the day, that chances go. And you can kind of watch that cold air start working its way in as this 540. This is our freezing line. So ultimately tomorrow, that 540 line is extending up into portions of Maryland, Virginia, and eventually that jet stream is going to start dropping and bringing along in with it much more of that cooler air as that front moves off the coast. So no snow for us. We can take this out to next week. Let's go out to the 11th. We'll go to the 10th here. So here's that system. By this point, this is Friday. You can see that 540 line extends up into Virginia, just north of here. This is showing this is the GFS model, wants to show a little blip of maybe some snow flurries if we're lucky. But I don't believe that that's going to happen. And as we move through this, this is going to show us a little bit of snow as that front's approaching. For the most part, I think if anything, this is going to be just a rain event for us. If we even get a bunch of rain out of it, we do have the chances there, but see, none of this shows on the actual future cast. So the rain does, but the snow that this is showing, and this is the most recent. This is as of 7 a.m. this morning. And this is just the GFS. If we switch this over to the Euro, We'll pull up the euro, and we'll run that through to the 11th. There's the 10th. That actually brings the center of low pressure a little bit further north, actually a little south of what the GFS does. Ultimately not giving us any kind of wintry weather at that point at all. Maybe a little bit up into North Carolina, into the mountains, and then eventually, as this low pressure, the center of low pressure gets off the coast, the snow and freezing rain chances increase a little bit for portions of North Carolina, extending all the way up into New Jersey and Maryland. So if you want to see some snow, maybe head on up to Ocean City, Maryland. You may be able to see some up there as we work in through next weekend. But as far as that goes, and then we'll extend out. Here's that next. This is going to be the next weather maker after that. Friday the 17th could bring a little bit of precipitation here. Let's check that out on the GFS. Pop that up here. Take that up to Friday. This is actually going to put it out here on the 18th. Looks like that center of low pressure is going to go right across Georgia, Florida, and out to the coast, bringing us the chance for some showers, it looks. But again, this is a long time out. So, but I just wanted to show you that, to show you that there is maybe ever so, okay, so we'll say a 99.9% chance of rain and a 0.1% chance of snow, as that GFS does give a little bit of a hint of maybe a flurry or two here along the Grand Strand, but I don't see it happening. So we will hop over into our radar here and kind of go over some of that. You can see here, I have the day one convective outlook on for today, and here's that interesting tornado look on the radar. You can see you've got the storm up here, and then you've got the severe weather line extending down, giving that cone type look for the tornado. So I thought that was interesting. But as you can look here, we've got tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings out on that line down in Louisiana, moving into portions of Mississippi at this point. Eventually, let's take a peek here. We'll bring up the day two categorical outlook. And that's going to bring the thunderstorm risk here for us here in Myrtle Beach, general thunderstorms. We could take a peek at there's a marginal risk of severe weather across southern Georgia, northern western Florida, thunderstorms, a couple which may be strong to potential severe. It doesn't really give us much about our area here. So, but you can see as tomorrow the categorical, and look at all this weather. This is that warm front, okay, kind of giving a little bit of bringing a little bit of that moisture into that unstable air, creating some storms here into portions of Georgia right now. But let's take a look at our future cast. This will be the NAM future cast as we kind of move through the next couple hours here, or the next 24 hours, if I can get it to load. Let me go to the 12Z. It wants to bring up the new model. The new model run, so we'll load the 12Z model here for the future cast. and you can see that system making its way across eventually into our area. Timing for the potential for some precipitation. We're going to be, we start seeing that risk moving into our area roughly around 12. So timing by 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, we've got some rain showers moving through the area. And eventually into the early evening hours, there may be a chance of a scattered shower or two. But by 11 p.m. tomorrow night, it is out of here and gone. So that's what the futurecast looks like for our area for tomorrow. Not a whole lot of risk of anything, and you can see that marginal, or that thunderstorm risk even cuts off half of Horry County. Does come into the Myrtle Beach area, but still cuts off most of Horry County. So really tomorrow, not a big giant rainmaker, definitely not a washout for the day, but definitely something to keep an eye on. If you're going out and about, I would say between 2 and 6 p.m., you can see that risk of those scattered showers and maybe even a thunderstorm or two. Can't roll out that thunderstorm risk at all. Let's take a peek at temperature. Here's our temperatures over the next 24, 48 hours as we start working through with this cold front once this loads up for us here. And again, this is the 7 a.m. run this morning for these temps and futurecast. You can see that cold front and the temperatures really start working its way through, and we get some really cool temperatures start building in. By this point, tomorrow night, 10 p.m., we got temps in the 40s, and eventually down into the 30s for let me bring this up here. There we go. And temperatures start to drop overnight tomorrow night into 8 a.m. on Tuesday. By 10 a.m., we're still in the 30s. And maxing out roughly around 42, 43 degrees. By 4 p.m., temperatures start to drop again into the 30s by 7 p.m. So really, really quick cool down as that front moves through. It's kind of cool. You can see this front right here on this. So we've got, here, let me draw this for you. So we've got center of low pressure right here. We've got the cold front dipping down. We've got this warm front extending up. And as it moves across, you can watch the temperatures really start to drop there at that point. Overall, pretty cold across much of the country at that point, and not looking for any relief anytime soon. However, we will see that. Let's switch this over to the GFS, and we will see that slight warm up as we go through the week. If I can get this to load here, it takes a couple seconds. as we kind of move into next weekend. Let's come back. So here we are, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. See that warm air start working its way just slightly in off of the coast here into our area along. And that's that little bit of a warm front attached to that area of low pressure, and eventually back behind it, some much cooler air as we move through out to about the 20th. We're still in that cold air. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this as we move through this week. Not going to rule out 100% of that cold weather or that winter weather for us. However, 99.9% chance that we're going to be ending up with just rain. And we can pull this up here and kind of go with, let's see, precipitation type as we move through and into next weekend with that system here. So let's take a look at this future cast on that. So here's tomorrow, and then eventually there's that system coming. Does show a little bit of that cold line right here mixing, but eventually returning to nothing but rain at that point before it kicks out of here. So like I said, not going to rule out that possibility that we could see some snow. Let's inspect this here. So snow and then quickly rain. So where can we expect those snow chances to be? Let's take a peek here. North Myrtle Beach, Little River, Cherry Grove, Carolina Forest, maybe kind of right on that line there with that. But again, this is still a long way out. This model has changed. I can't tell you how many times, but good chance of some freezing rain, snow, parts of North Carolina at that point as that system starts to work its way through next Saturday. But for now, enjoy the rest of the day today. Clouds are going to start building in along that warm front as it starts working its way up through. And tomorrow, we will start to see that precipitation. I would say anywhere from 11 to 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there. But the heaviest rains that we will see tomorrow will be between that 11 and 3, 4 p.m. area. So just keep an eye out for that as we move through the day tomorrow. Other than that, we will be back next weekend on Sunday with another episode of the Coastal Cast Live. However, depending on what this system does as we move in towards next week, we will take a peek at the opportunity for that snow, which, like I said, it's a long way out right now. So, but as we start moving through the next couple days, some of these models are going to begin to solidify and kind of give us a little bit more of an explanation on what exactly is going to happen. I do want to share one more thing with you here. Let's pull up the Euro and see. It's not going to give us, it's going to show us precipitation moving out to next week, but it's not going to give us the snow. See, there's given us some precipitation there, but let's check here on the GFS real quick and see what total snowfall accumulation. So this will play this out here. Let this load. And we'll see what this shows as far as total snow accumulation As we move through the week, you can really see that snow up there in the northeast. Look at that. That is incredible. As we move through, see, it doesn't show anything for our area. The western portions of the state could potentially see some snow. What are we looking at there in the western portions? About 8 inches of snow out there, western portions of South Carolina. But again, a big fat goose egg here along the Grand Strand. Moving in towards next week after that storm moves through, and this actually runs it out to the 21st. So out to the 21st, still no snow here along the Grand Strand. So, I'm going to keep an eye on it. I know the snow lovers are really, really, really wanting to see some snow here, but the chances are just getting slimmer and slimmer as we kind of move through. But it's not completely out of the question. It never is during wintertime. The scenario's there. The temperatures are there. It's just a matter of what that jet stream wants to do and how far north that low pressure system wants to go before it starts working into our area. So we'll keep a close eye on it as we move through the next week. But right now, I'm going to say maybe that 0.1 chance of a snow flurry here. Nothing like this model was showing us last week at a foot of snow, which was a little crazy, but I had to blast that out there and kind of ruffle some feathers a little bit on that. But I look forward to seeing you guys next week here on the Coastal Cast Live. It's been a pleasure. Please keep with us on our Facebook page, as we will be posting out some more information as we go through the next 24 hours with this low pressure cold front moving through. And as we get closer to next week, we'll keep an eye on the models. So we thank you very much for being with us today. And we look forward to seeing you next week right here on the Coastal Cast Live.